Spoilers and offensive content to come.
We are Carlos and Dave Anime Rave. We are the best anime review and reaction show on the internet. Today we will be reviewing and reacting to My Hero Academia Season 2, Episode 7.
So what did I say? Was it going to be episode 9 that finally got us out of this this arc?
Yep.
Let's hope I was wrong.
I know My Hero Academia pays a lot of homage to a lot of Western properties. There's a lot of places in this world named after Star Wars locations.
Mm-hmm.
And you have characters like Todoroki, who's definitely a Zuko homage. And when I look at Mind Control Guy, I see his purple hair, and I wonder if he's not a bit of a nod to Zebediah Killgrave, Marvel's resident purple man, aka Mind Controller. Sorry, resident Mind Controller, aka Purple Man, with the purple hair and whatnot.
Couldn't say. I don't even know your character.
Killgrave, Zebediah Killgrave, in the comics he was a purple dude named Purple Man. In the Jessica Jones Marvel Netflix series, he's just a British dude who likes to wear a lot of purple suits. He appeared once in the Fox Kids X-Men cartoon. Cyclops killed him in that one. Or didn't kill him, defeated him because he was controlling a bunch of children. He's actually intersected, or he's dealt with a lot of different heroes. He started as a villain of Daredevil. He's been a villain of the X-Men at one point, of Jessica Jones lately. He's had encounters with X-Men, of all people. He was revealed to be the one who was making X-Men famous as a park psychic, so that he could use X-Men's reality manipulating powers to his benefit. But the problem with trying to mind control one of the most powerful psychics alive is that the moment he realizes it, he can shut you the fuck off.
Yeah.
And here we get our glimpse into yet another kind of Avatar analog.
Yep.
The little Avatar state, past Avatars thing that One For All has, where the past users can help you. In this case, breaking Midoriya out of not Killgrave's mind control.
His ability's way better for a villain.
Here's the thing. I don't believe that. Powers are based on what you do with them. Even something like Emperor Palpatine's Force Lightning can be a heroic power if you use it on the wicked to save the righteous, right? Like, if you take someone with mind control, okay, that seems pretty evil, but you know what's a very heroic thing to do with mind control? Be a hostage negotiator. You can tell people to stop hurting others. You can tell people to turn themselves in. You can tell people to get psychiatric help they may need. You can do a wide variety of good things with mind control.
Sure.
Even though it tends to be in fiction a power villains have.
Absolutely.
And part of the reason, it's kind of like in wrestling where certain characters have traits that make them better as heels, right? You sometimes have people who buck the trend, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, who had tons of heel traits, but was one of wrestling's biggest faces. So you have to be careful with that, because that's kind of the exception that proves the rule a little bit, right?
No, I get it, but usually it would be more of a villain trait.
Oh, for sure.
So what you're telling me is you need to take out Ball Guy and put him in. Yes, I'm going to Ball Guy forever, because I've read the fucking manga, and Ball Guy needs to fucking go.
I still don't understand how not Killgrave managed to land in general studies. Because, okay, yeah, certainly the entrance exam is skewed. Oh, wait, if he has to take out the robots himself, he can't just control someone to do it.
Exactly.
I guess he could control someone to weaken them and then deliver the final blow. But what he really needed to do was train physically. Not just for that, but because, it's the laws of biology, right? Someone somewhere is immune to something, no matter how widespread. That means that no matter how domineering your mind control superpower will be, statistics say someone is immune to it. Just by the luck of the draw of genetics, right? So, I mean, for that situation, you need to train.
Really, the entrance exam is unfair.
It is.
Because, his power is, you're right, for negotiations, for talking down heroes and controlling them to get them to surrender.
Villains, you mean?
Heroes or villains.
Well, or brainwashed heroes. What if enemies...
Exactly.
You could try to fight the brainwashing with your own brainwashing.
Exactly. So it is unfair. Now that's interesting. It doesn't just take an actual word.
Gave it a little breath.
Just a sound.
Mm-hmm.
That, so technically then he could, if you're in combat and not talking and he hits you and you grunt, he can do it.
Yeah, well, yeah, but the implication is that voice has to happen. That means a mute villain's got his number. Or a villain who just has no capability for speech.
Namu.
Yeah, the Nomus, we should say. It would definitely, Shinso would have a very difficult time against them.
Well, let's just say what we really want to say. He's dead.
any villain who knows that they need to make sound and who have the training to just not do it. Most ninja type villains, anyone in the League of Assassins has Shinso. That's why he needs to train, right? He needs to back up his quirk with physical training.
Yeah.
Did you put too much pressure on him again? Megaton punch.
The fact that he felt that and it hurt is awesome.
Granted, he's not in All Might
He's
form.
not in All Might mode, but still. And her reaction is correct. I thought by the end of episode 9 we'd be done this. I'm now going to say episode 10.
Okay.
Because if they're going to spend an episode to get to the point where Bakugo and Air Girl...
It's not even air! That's not even her power!
Gravity...
Her name is Ochako or Araka.
Thank you. If they're going to take until that end of that battle for episode 8, that means we have probably a full episode for Midoriya and Izuku, and then a full episode for what happens after that.
I was going to make a huge... I was going to, go on this huge spiel about comparing this show to shows that are both really... shows that pace themselves really well, unlike Season 2 of My Hero Academia, and shows that don't pace themselves really well. I was going to compare it to good examples of pacing like both Kill la Kill and Gurren Lagann, and some Western stuff like Steven Universe and Voltron Legendary Defender. Voltron being one of the best paced shows I've ever seen. Its pace was perfect, neither too fast nor slow. And then I was going to I was going to compare to shows that are paced really poorly, like the Marvel Netflix series, which varies wildly in quality, but a negative I feel they all have is that the episodes are all 59 minutes long and they just flounder. They feel way longer than the 13-episode season length would suggest. But we don't need to make those comparisons because there's a perfect comparison to make for My Hero Academia Season 2. The best possible comparison I can make is to compare it to a little show called My Hero Academia Season 1. The two arcs that the first season covered in 13 episodes in the manga are roughly the same size individually as the sports festival. They're not that much longer or shorter than each other, but somehow in 13 episodes they covered two of those arcs. And here it seems like it's going to take 13 episodes to just cover one. Art is not supposed to be efficient, so using the word efficient for storytelling seems wrong, because that applies too much science to it. It's not really science. But it's about pacing, and what this season is doing that the first season did not is it is lingering on things that we don't need to have. I already know Shoto Todoroki's motive, man. I don't need it explained to me 18 bazillion times. There's so much time you can dedicate to better things. Even if they decided to keep every event from the manga, like the cavalry battle, which I've often argued doesn't need to be there, it can be compressed or like that could have been a one episode thing. There's a lot of it's like, this is what this feels like. It's like, okay, you're getting a second season, and the second season's 26 episodes. And instead of saying, oh, sweet, we can do 4 arcs, They said, sweet, we can pad the shit out of 2. That's what it feels like.
I didn't want to interrupt you there because you're completely right, but you're right. Like, this episode, I'm very sure I could have taken this episode and cut about half of it, compressed it.
Yeah.
Parts where they were, like, I love the music in this show.
It's good music.
So I can appreciate during the Midoriya brain mind control guy battle how they wanted to do the musical flourish to it and let that go. But no. Half the time that he was waiting and he was walking there, I would have cut that out, compressed it, and we would have had Lightning Dude versus Plant Hair Chick. At the very least, I would have had 3 battles in this episode, at the least compared to 2. And that's been the problem. Like, I've liked to have seen a whole bunch of the details from the manga that they've done so far. But tighten that shit up. Instead of waiting on one part where you're showing a character for 5 seconds, get that shit down to 3. We get it. They're allowing scenes to go too long, and that's something they gotta work on. Now, a piece of good news that I heard online today. Like, Season 3 was already approved with Season 2. They've now approved Season 4.
Sure. That's not the issue.
And that's a good thing, because it means that I'm gonna have, this show around for a while. But they gotta work on trimming things out, compressing it so that they get more into an episode, so they can get to more of what's happening.
There's a lot about screenwriting that's very formulaic, and a lot of white men spewing lessons that aren't necessarily universal constants. But there are some that make a lot of sense. And as bad as like I wouldn't call any Law and Order show good, but there is one thing they do exceptionally well. They enter a scene as late as possible, and they leave as early as possible. And there's one thing to say that anime and manga, they like to show little details, right? Nothing wrong with that. We like to see little establishing shots that are a way of expositing without people needing to talk. That's why I got all over Handshaker's main character not shutting the fuck up when all the action's happening. Although Handshakers is bad for a wide variety of other reasons too.
Oh, you have no idea.
The thing is, there's all that the Law and Order lesson could have been applied to Season 2 because it was in Season 1. In Season 1 of My Hero Academia, we don't dawdle on too much extraneous crap. At the same time, it doesn't feel like things are being rushed. Season 1 of My Hero Academia feels much better paced. It feels much more like Voltron. And Season 2 feels like, instead of packing more in with the greater amount of episodes, they just want to pad it out. It's like, oh sweet, we can do that padding we always wanted to do. I'm like, no! Don't pad! God damn it. You're not going to outpace the manga. The manga is releasing very steadily. There's no danger of filler arcs here.
Anytime soon.
Not that that's even a bad thing. Like,
okay.
I hate the manga.
Bad.
No, it's
bad. No,
not bad.
I'm not done. Bad.
Huh.
You filler fucking sucks.
No.
Too many anime have just decided that, we're getting too close to being caught up, and we're going to do an entire goddamn season of fucking filler, which is garbage.
Filler's bad.
Fillers can work.
Story that differs from the original is not bad.
No, that's fine, but when people talk about filler these days, we're not talking, an episode they wanted to throw in to show a little bit more of a character's motivations that wasn't in the manga, or was in the manga way later kind of thing. That's not the sort of filler we're complaining about here. We're talking completely made up shit, which actually has nothing to do with anything, and then is never referenced again.
Then I used the wrong word then. Being different from the manga is not wrong.
No.
And there are some shows that are different from their original source material that I'm so thankful for. And maybe that's the issue. I have very little respect for just adapting a manga and trying to be as close as possible. Because again, I was brought up on Marvel and DC Comics where there are so many different interpretations of Superman or the X-Men or Batman or Spider-Man or any character you care to mention. There are so many different Wonder Women. And when they adapt a story to an animated series or to a film or to a novel or any other medium, they don't feel the need to copy things wholesale. They take elements of it and then they retell. And sometimes they do entirely new takes on characters. And that's kind of what the big bummer here is. Like, yeah, maybe I wouldn't be complaining about this if season 2 was a lot better paced like the first season was. But I just keep thinking, you know what? Did it have to just be the manga adaptation? And honestly, yeah, maybe I wouldn't have this question otherwise, but I have it now. So I wonder.
Fair enough. I'm actually completely fine with either direction they go. If they want to put their own take on it, great. But if they want to do a direct manga adaptation to just show it visually, I'm also fine with that. With when it's a good story, I don't take marks away for them not doing their own take on it. But I understand exactly what you're saying. It's why I look at some movie adaptations, and while I may not think they're fantastic, I'm willing to accept them because, you gotta take liberties with different places.
Well, sure, and sometimes the issue with Zack Snyder's DC movies isn't that they're different, it's that they're executed like shit and told like shit and paced like shit. The problem is not that Superman's more stoic and dour than in the comic. That's not the problem in and of itself.
No, that's still kind of a problem.
It's really not, because you can still tell a good story with that interpretation of Superman.
But he doesn't.
Exactly. That's exactly what I just said. It's the execution of it. The fact that that is who Superman is not in and of itself the problem. The fact that this is the story we're getting out of season 2 of My Hero Academia is not necessarily a problem. It's not that there is a cavalry battle in a school festival arc. It's that it's taking so long to get through, when this show has proven before that it can get through this much quicker and better. Padding things out and adding more details is not always better. Some less is not always more. Here it would be. Carlos Dave Anime Rave is the best anime reaction and review show on the internet. The best. If you disagree with that, well, what do you want me to say? Do you want me to say we're not the best? Of course we're going to say we're the best. Like, just get the fuck over yourself. You can find us at animerave.xyz. Go there and be merry. Or get angry at us for saying we're the best. I'm okay with either one.
Tune in next time.